Welcome to the Latin Wealth Podcast, a podcast dedicated to educating the Latino community about entrepreneurship, investing, and business.
What's going on, Latin Wealth family? Welcome to another episode to the Latin Wealth Podcast. Super excited about today's topics as we're going to be diving into U.S. Latinos and breaking down their economic output as it just reached $3.6 trillion, which is absolutely amazing. $3.6 trillion with a T. And we're also going to be breaking down a graph that kind of compares the GDP of U.S. Latino population compared to the wealthiest nations in the world. All right. In addition to that, we're also going to be breaking down Apple's new iPhone 16 that was just launched last week. We're going to be talking about what's going on with Apple. Have they lost their creative ways? And, you know, what's next? What's next for Apple? What can we expect? All right. So, with that being said, it's your boy Chris. This is another episode to Wealth Wednesday. Unfortunately, Jeremiah is not with us on this show. Scheduling this summer has been crazy on both of our ends. It's not him, it's both of us, right? So, Q4 is going to be a pretty busy quarter, but he will definitely be back next week, and he will also be at the Latin Wealth Summit. If you guys don't know, October 12th and 13th, we're having a Latin Wealth Summit in Dallas, Texas. And yeah, Jeremiah is going to be on one of the panels teaching y'all about financial literacy, pretty much what we do on this show throughout the show, but he's going to be doing it in person. So it's going to be a great time and opportunity to network, listen to a bunch of other speakers. There's about 11, 12 other speakers that are going to be there talking about different topics, different subjects. Tickets are on sale. I'm going to link the website in the description of this video. So if you guys are interested, or if you guys want to tune in virtually, maybe you're in a different country, different state, and you want to tune in virtually, there are options for a virtual viewing. But I would highly recommend, if you live in the area, if you live in the States, make a trip to Dallas. And yeah, it's going to be a great time to learn, network, and, you know, just to be around like-minded individuals. All right, so link in the description for that, or you can just go to our website, latinwealthsummit.com. Also, you'll see it all on our Instagram as well. With all that out the way, let's get into today's topics. All right, so we got some interesting things to hit on today. Latinos in the United States. So as I mentioned, the total economic output of U.S. Latinos has reached $3.6 trillion in 2022, growing at a faster rate than most wealthy global economies, as we're going to look at in a second, according to a recent report released on Thursday. Now, why does this matter, right? Despite the wide economic disparity in the United States, Latinos have seen a rapid population growth. We are very youthful, and there's been a huge increase in Latinos getting more higher education, as I should say, right? Not only that, you guys know that we are very entrepreneurial minded people. So this has just been a perfect recipe for us to be an economic powerhouse, right? So as we're going to break down in a second by the numbers, if the U.S. Latinos were an independent country, we would have the 5th largest economy in the world for the second consecutive year, according to a recent report. All right, so between the year 2017 and 2022, Latinos' GDP's growth trailed only that of China, seeing a 4.6 annual average real growth rate compared to China's 5.3. All right, so I want to share my screen really quick to give you guys a perspective on what exactly I'm talking about. And as you can see, this was a recent report that just came out. It is breaking down 2022 GDP of U.S. Latino population compared to the wealthiest nations. So at the very bottom, Now the bottom, these are all numbers are in trillion, right? So $2.1 trillion, Italy, Canada, France, United Kingdom, India, $3.4 trillion. And then we have U.S. Latinos coming at $3.6 trillion, have a higher GDP as all these other countries down below. And then right above us is Germany, sitting at 4.1 trillion, Japan 4.2 trillion, China at 18 trillion, and then number one is the United States as a whole, everybody in the United States, which is $25.4 trillion in GDP, which is absolutely insane. I do want to give you guys one other statistic that I found really interesting as I'm still sharing my screen. The 5 states where Latinos have the greatest economic output in 2022 were California, Texas, Florida, New York, and Illinois. And we know, look, if you are from any of these states, you guys know that there's a massive Latino population in every single one of these states. These are, if I'm not mistaken, probably the 5 most populated Latino states in America. So very interesting. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And this is all great news. This is super dope to see. It's showing that, again, we are becoming more educated. We have been entrepreneurial. We've had this mindset for a while now. And in fact, I'm reading a book called The Millionaire Next Door. And it's funny because in the book, it pretty much talks about why immigrants are more likely to be successful millionaires, successful entrepreneurs, because they're coming into the state with the mindset of they're not being raised in a hyper consumerist environment, right? They're coming from somewhere where they don't have that mindset of being consumers. They don't have that microwave society mindset. They're coming over here and they just want to, live a good life, a decent life. They don't need all the extra crazy things, fancy cars and whatnot. And they're able to fully focus on their business. They're able to fully focus on the health of their family and the quality of their life, opposed to someone being raised in America. We're used to hearing people saying they're going into $50,000, $100,000 in school debt and consuming that, right? So it's a very interesting perspective that book gave. But to bring it back, this is a mindset that has been kind of ingrained in our family. I know even my great grandmother, she was born in Puerto Rico and lived in the Bronx, and if I'm not mistaken, she would provide food for people in the neighborhood in where she lived in the Bronx. And I think she was selling the food. She may have been giving it out, but either way, she had that entrepreneurial spirit to just be able to do what a lot with a little, right? And I think that's something that's definitely ingrained in our DNA. So all that sounds great, but there's also, on the flip side, some things that needs to be addressed as well. And in this same article, about 17% of U.S. Latinos live in poverty, right? Well above the nation's overall poverty rate of 12.5. So 17% of U.S. Latinos live in poverty. The nation's average poverty rate is 12.5. So you got companies like Wells Fargo's and different banks that are reaching out to Latinos, ultimately trying to get their business, but they're reaching out to unbanked Latino customers and offering counseling to help Latino residents to improve your credit score and to buy homes. We know there was, I'm drawing a blank on the name of the company that we've reviewed on this platform, but it's a Latino-owned company, and pretty much you don't need, I don't think you need very much to set up a bank with them, and it's Latino-owned. I'll link that company down below in the episode if you want to know more about that company. But yeah, very, very interesting article. It's, I think it's dope to see that we're educated, we're becoming more educated, and there's still a lot that needs to be done, and there's still a lot that needs to be improved upon. And, the best thing that we can do is focus on ourselves and focus on who we can impact around us. Because if we're looking at the big picture and saying, hey, I want to help, a million Latinos become educated, that can be, a bit to bite off. But if we focus on like, hey, I want to be the best version of myself and I want to educate myself when it comes to financial literacy, when it comes to entrepreneurship, and I'm going to help the people around me become better, that's a win. And with us doing that here and there, we're going to continue to see these numbers grow higher and higher. And even if you scroll down to the bottom of this article, it literally says what we're watching. The U.S. Latino economy is expected to surpass Japan's economy by 2024 and Germany by 2027. So if we pass Germany and Japan, we would be sitting at number 3 behind China and the United States as a whole, which is absolutely insane. All right, so just some food for thought, just some information for y'all to learn about. What is also very interesting is Apple. Apple just unveiled their latest iPhone 16 and iPhone 16 Pro. But a lot of people, including myself, and I know Jeremiah is listening to this, it was a snooze fest, right? It was, if you missed it, if you don't know what's going on with the latest iPhone, if you probably guessed at what updates they made to the phone, you probably would be right, even if you knew nothing about the event, right? Just a couple different tech updates with the phone. So the new phone is now able to detect sleep apnea. The Apple Watch is able to do that, which is pretty cool. The AirPod Pros are now working as a certified hearing aid, which is dope. If y'all don't know, I actually have some hearing issues myself, so this is cool to see. A new camera control button on the iPhone 16. Visual intelligence features is also on the iPhone 16. And then we spoke about the Apple AI, the Apple Intelligence on the new iPhones, right? So these are just a couple of different features and products that were released. A new Apple Watch, I think they're on Series 10. The new headphones, it's what I'm having the hard time saying what's new about it, because there ain't very much, right? Just, a camera update on the phone. And I mentioned that there's a button on the phone, an additional button that you can use to kind of take pictures on your phone. Anyways, none of that really is groundbreaking at all. I think what was very interesting, and the thing that I want to talk about, is we spoke about on this platform about Apple Intelligence a lot, Apple AI, and how this is supposed to be their next thing, how it's supposed to be the thing that can take them over the edge, and how it's going to bring them back to their innovative ways. And we heard about this, I believe, sometime in, I think it was April or July or something like that. Sometime around then, we started hearing rumors that they may be integrating with some of these AI platforms. And the new phones are not being rolled out with Apple Intelligence. Apple Intelligence is still not ready, and these new phones are being rolled out without it. Now, we expected that these new phones would have the feature on there, and essentially that new button that's going to be on the phone was supposed to be the button that you hit to click to have a conversation with Siri and to interact with Apple Intelligence. But that's not the case. That's not the case. They are not shipping with the new feature. So this is, to me, honestly, this is going to be a very critical year for Apple, as we needed to see something new yesterday, right? We needed to see something new, groundbreaking yesterday. A lot of people felt the same sentiment about the event, where it just was a snooze fest, nothing new. I mean, shout out to some of the health features that they're adding into the watch and into the AirPods. Jeremiah has spoken about that's probably the direction that they need to go in, is in the healthcare space, So it's cool that they're adding some different features to help people with sleep apnea and, the hearing aid function as well. But we need to see something new with the phone, just flat out. If I'm not mistaken, we haven't seen a huge upgrade, update, refresh to the Apple phone since probably, I think, iPhone 10. We're on 16 now. I could be wrong about that, maybe a little earlier. You also got to keep in mind, if we're seeing a lack of innovation when it comes to these products, what do you think this is going to do to their investors? People that have big positions in Apple, if they continue to show lack of innovation, what do you think? Where do you think people are going to move their money, right? If this next year is another year of the same old stuff, same old... I'm sorry, I'm disappointed. I'm just disappointed in, some of the products and what they've been doing at Apple. But if it's going to continue like this, don't be surprised at the end of the year, at the end of next year, so end of going into 2025, that people are moving off of Apple and into different innovative companies. There's a new company, it's not a new company, but it's a company that just revealed a new product. And I'll share my screen again because you guys are probably not going to believe what is coming out. So I believe the name of the company is a Chinese-owned company. It's called Huawei. This company is very, very, very popular in Asia. It's pretty much like their iPhone out there, right? Android phone, and they have just revealed their new Trifold phone. It is expensive. It's going to cost more than a 16-inch MacBook Pro. But my point of showing you guys is it's a new innovative product that we have not seen before, right? And if I'm not mistaken, this was actually revealed and released on the same day that the iPhone 16 came out. So they're trying to take some of the the exposure and the clout on the same day. Very, very smart by this company to release something on the same day that, it's innovative. It's a trifold phone. I don't know if they're going to show more pictures of it. There's a video. I don't think there's any more pictures of it, but you can kind of get the idea of it. It folds into a regular phone, just like your iPhone, but it also expands out into essentially the size of a mini tablet. So again, this is something innovative that this company is offering. And this is almost something that's like one of these rendering pictures that I remember you would look at in high school of like the futuristic phones. It's finally coming out, right? So very, very interesting that this company is, moving in a completely different direction as Apple. Do I think Apple needs to release something like this? I don't know. It needs to be innovative, though. It needs to be different. It has to spark people's interest. You have to realize that people that are going to be buying this iPhone 16, it's either going to be people that have a really, really, really old model. It's going to be people that just feel like they need to keep up with every single model every single year. And also just regular tech people that review tech on YouTube, social media, and they have to get it because of their job. It's their job to review these new products. These are going to be the people that buy the new iPhone 16. And the last thing I'll say about Apple is very interesting. Jeremiah, would love to know your thoughts on this. I know you're listening to this. They discontinued 8 different products. Now, I'm not going to go down all 8 products. It was some older versions of the AirPod, I think some older versions of the Apple Watch, but they discontinued the iPhone 13 and the iPhone 15. Very, very interesting because the iPhone 16 just came out, and typically, okay, if I can't get the 16, it just came out, let me just get the iPhone 15 because it's going to be cheaper, it's going to be on sale, better deal. But no, they are discontinuing that model altogether, so kind of forcing people to like, hey, if they want a new iPhone, they have to immediately jump to the iPhone 16. So very interesting business move on their end. Apple is always strategic around how they price things, how they release things. It's again, this will be the last thing I say, but if you even look at their pricing structure on their computer, they have it priced in a way to where you have the mindset to where you say, hey, I just might as well get this because it's almost the same price as this. And they just keep you, going up the ladder until you have the most expensive product, if that makes sense. But anyways, that is just some information about Apple and about the U.S. Latinos, what's going on in the United States, and also about the Latin Wealth Summit, October 12th to 13th. If you guys want more tickets and details on that, link in the description down below. And look, that's it, y'all. If y'all have any questions or if you want to leave your thoughts and comments, please do in the comment section. Please share this episode with one other person that needs to hear the Latin Wealth podcast. And it's your boy Chris. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace.